If Charlize can win an Oscar looking like this, I'm sure as hell going to get through this video. Hey, I'm Amy and welcome back. Today I am checking AILEEN, the life and death of a serial killer off the 1001 movie checklist. If you don't know what the 1001 movie checklist is, or the 1001 movie challenge, it is basically a challenge I have given myself to watch every single movie from the 1001 movies you must see before you die book. So far, I've checked 154 movies off the list. If you want to know more, you can check out this playlist up here that has all of the movies I have done so far and a little intro video explaining the whole thing. I am also an Amazon affiliate, so if you would like to purchase the movie that I watched today, which I do not think I could find a link for this, it is on Netflix, or you want to watch the movie that I'm going to be talking about next time, you can check the links in the description, and anything you purchase from that will get a little kickback to me, and it'll help make this channel even better. As always, let's get started with a quick summary. In a follow-up to the documentary AILEEN Wuornos, The Selling of a Serial Killer, AILEEN, The Life and Death of a Serial Killer, takes a look at the life of AILEEN Wuornos leading up to and following her trial as the first female serial killer, while shining the light on the death penalty and the American justice system. Before I really get into this, I'm going to be completely honest, I have not had a lot of experience breaking down and picking apart documentaries like I do with a lot of narrative films, mostly what I do with this series. This is one of the first real documentaries that I have covered for this series. It's not the first one I have watched off the list, but it is the first one that I have really covered on the channel. I know Man with the Movie Camera is kind of considered a documentary, but I consider it kind of a narrative-ish, but also a very avant-garde with no timeline kind of film. It's just a lot of stuff put into a montage pre-montage, if that makes any sense. So this is really the first documentary that I have had to really watch and analyze the way I do with all the narrative films I have watched so far. And although this documentary was very interesting, I really enjoyed it because I have a thing for learning about serial killers. I love them, they fascinate me. I will talk about that in just a second. To me, this one, I don't know if it really felt like it would be on this list. I know the first one, from the way the director slash narrator, interviewer in this, Nick Bloomfield, I think that's how you say his last name, I think it's Bloomfield, how he described his first documentary, because he did AILEEN Wuornos, The Selling of a Serial Killer, which follows the initial trial of AILEEN and the whole background of it, all the people that she trusted the most, kind of coercing her into giving somewhat of a false confession, which leads to her getting put on death row.
Joe Hobson felt that AILEEN had been poorly represented by her previous attorney, Dr. Legal.
Most of us would probably never worry about spending time in jail, but if you are ever involved in the criminal justice system, you will need a lawyer who can...
Joe Hobson was hoping to get AILEEN a retrial by discrediting Dr. Legal, otherwise known as Steve.
And it also shows and talks a little bit about how a lot of the cops and even AILEEN's girlfriend were trying to sell their stories and her story to Hollywood producers and directors because they just wanted to make a little money off of the first female serial killer. So to me, that sounded a little bit more interesting, and it is also on Netflix, just like this one, so I will probably be watching it sometime in the future. I don't know if it would deserve to be on this place instead. The book talks a little bit about how this goes into the death penalty and opening up our eyes, I guess, and it doesn't really say that's paraphrasing. The book really says it goes into the death penalty and focuses a little bit on the death penalty. How many times can I say death penalty? But also the execution of someone who is mentally incapacitated. And while I can see where the documentary is going in that respect, they don't really show it. I don't think it's not as, at least to me, I didn't really feel that that's where they were going with it in a lot of places. It to me felt like Nick was really just trying to get confessions out of AILEEN and to get her side of the story, but AILEEN was very resistant to it, and she was kind of lying and pretending that she was lying. Well, she was definitely lying, but she was also pretending that she was lying, and it was just this whole weird thing. And I can see where that is saying that she is mentally incapacitated. The governor, this was when Jeb Bush was governor of Florida, he brings in a couple psychologists to kind of test AILEEN to see if she can use the defense of being clinically insane as her defense for killing all of these men, but they only examine her for 15 minutes and then say, yep, you're gonna get put in the electric chair, which is kind of what she wants anyways. They don't really say what is affecting her. They don't go into the I mean, I guess I'm kind of getting it right now as I'm talking, how the American justice system doesn't really go through with things like this, and how they're really just not doing a whole lot. They're really not trying to find the truth, but AILEEN isn't really helping them. She is telling them false information. She's saying it was all self-defense, because if she says that it was self-defense and she gives up her truth, she will have to just live on death row and serve out a couple life sentences, which means she's just gonna live in this horrible environment, be kind of tortured. In the end, it's better, she feels that it's better for her to just kind of die and take the penalty for what she says she's done, even though she didn't really murder those men completely in cold blood. But throughout the documentary, to me, it really is hard to tell if AILEEN is telling the truth, because at some point she just does this weird little kind of smile.
You gave such a graphic description of what had happened with Richard Mallory.
Like, she has a secret that she's not telling anybody, she's not telling the camera, even though it seems like she's trying to tell Nick the truth, or she is telling Nick the truth, and it seems like she's got even another story, a third story than what she is talking about.
Yeah, after sitting around thinking how I could drum up a story.
That was pretty convincing.
Was it? That's sad.
Well, I thought so.
For me, it didn't feel very cohesive, and this whole video right now is not feeling as cohesive as I want it to. Thought I had all my thoughts planned out, but I guess I didn't. And I briefly mentioned that in the description-ish that Nick gave for the selling of a serial killer in the beginning of The Life and Death of a Serial Killer, that a lot of the cops and people that were close to AILEEN were selling their stories to Hollywood producers to kind of make money off of it. And one of those people was AILEEN's girlfriend at the time. She got really upset about that. AILEEN felt very hurt. And I feel like in this one, AILEEN is just doing a lot of this stuff. She's kind of vamping for the camera, because she'll fix her hair.
I get my hair out of my face while I'm doing this.
She'll brush her hair.
Wait a minute. Ow. No, I won't go into the murder.
She'll make kind of a little smile.
Nick, this interview, man, I just, let me do this thing over one more time, because I know you guys pre-tape and you clip and stuff.
Right.
So let me say it one more time, kind of right, okay? Because I'm really concerned about the family members.
Different things like that make it look like yes, she's trying to like glam up for the camera a little bit to make herself look a little bit better, but at the same time, you just feel like she's doing this to kind of get her 15 minutes of fame, get a spotlight on her. Maybe even make her story a little bit more of a sensation. And the psychology of serial killers is just fascinating to me. I only took one semester of psychology in college, and I kind of wish I took more, because it just fascinates me the way their brains work, the way they do everything, the reason they do everything. It kind of blows my mind. It confuses me. I want to learn more. I want to learn why they're doing this. And some of the times you don't really know why they're doing it, because the killer won't really give a straight answer, but at the same time, there's other ones that you kind of know why they're doing it, but it's just so weird and messed up. Like, one of my favorite serial killers to learn about, which is totally weird, I feel saying that, is Jeffrey Dahmer. If you watched my review of My Friend Dahmer, you can check out the review up there. I actually really enjoyed that movie. It was really interesting seeing kind of Jeffrey's life before he became a serial killer, because it leads directly up to him kind of realizing what he wants to do, and him kind of becoming the serial killer, and then it ends right where his first real kill would have started. And it's just this really weird cerebral look, and it was filmed in Jeffrey Dahmer's childhood home, and it's so crazy, but that's not the point. We're not talking about him, we're talking about AILEEN Wuornos. The reason that they do this is fascinating to me, and AILEEN just lies about everything, and I don't get why, but I do get why, because she doesn't want to stay in the prison system, and it's crazy. It's very crazy, and I'm here for it. weirdly enough. But after watching this documentary, it really made me want to watch Monster with Charlize Theron even more. I have never seen it. I want to see it. I've been wanting to see it. This movie won Charlize Theron her first Oscar. I love Charlize. She's probably one of my favorite actors. But I also thought it would be on the list, and it's not. So I really want to watch it. Everyone has been saying how good it is. It got Charlize her only Oscar, and it's written and directed by the almighty Patty Jenkins, so you know it's got to be amazing. So please, no spoilers, even though I'm pretty sure I know how it goes down, but I still kind of want to be a little bit surprised. It was really hard for me to choose a clip for this because none of them really stood out to me the way the clips I pull for narrative films do, but there was this scene that I've probably showed before in this that I don't usually do. I don't usually show the clips while I'm showing footage from the rest of this, but this clip was when AILEEN and Nick were talking when she thought that the camera was turned off and they weren't recording her, and she was giving a real, true confession. I feel like it was the only time that anybody in this entire movie was actually telling the truth.
And then they've said other things that are really crazy. They do crazy things to the people while they're incarcerated. I'd never be able to handle it, so I'm going for the death. I have to, because they're too evil. They're too evil to people incarcerated. And they're too evil on the cases. They're so corrupt. It's not funny. So I gotta go down. I have to. That's why I can't say nothing about self-defense on tape or anything.
And that is all I have for AILEEN, The Life and Death of a Serial Killer. As always, these are just my thoughts, but I would love to know yours in the comments down below. If you want to know which films I have watched so far, or just follow my progress along in general, there's a link to a Google Doc in the description down below, where you can see a list of all the movies I have checked off so far. For the next movie, I would be watching Monster, but of course, it is not on the list. Very sad. I thought it would be. I wanted to watch a comedy to kind of get a break from the serial killer of this documentary before jumping into the horror movies and stuff that I'm going to be talking about for October. So next time I will be checking off Monty Python and the Holy Grail because yes, I have still only seen the
just a flesh wound
clip. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really truly do appreciate every single one of you. Let me know who you are in the comments down below and let's be friends. If you enjoyed this, leave a like and subscribe if you're new because I love talking all things movies, TV shows, filmmaking, film history, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you next time. Bye!